friends, welcome to another stream, but we're missing one of our hosts. Let's get this party started. There we go. We got the magnificent Jeremy Elborn in the building. I know I'm super zoomed in right now, but we got
Hold
some
on,
great players.
is the game audio coming through?
Oh, yeah, the game audio. I was like, wait, somebody's dragging like a refrigerator across like the floor or something. Oh.
Yeah. I didn't mean to have the game be so loud. It's just like I launched it and it's like ah.
Yeah. All right, I got to figure out how not to make it so like close. This is like close.
Yeah, you really zoomed in on us here.
Yeah, there we go. That's much better. All right, friends. So welcome to another stream. Who do we have in the building? I'm sure our friends are at home. Let's say hello to all of our friends. So who's joining us on the stream today? We got Jessica Janik. You're on mute, Jessica. Come off of mute.
I am. I'm here though. And I can hear an echo of myself in the background.
Oh, but you don't sound bad to me. You sound great. And then we got the phenomenal, fantastic, our fearless leader, Mr. Jeremy Elborn in the building.
Hello. I'm trying to turn the audio down on the game so I can hear anything.
No, I get that. I get that. So let's say hi to all our friends at home. We got Ryan in the building. Ryan, what's up? We got Yosef. Hello, hello, hello. And then we got Constantine. Hey there. What's going on, friends? Listen, we are so happy to be here with you all. From Brazil, we got Joao. Joao, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jeremy, so Jeremy's going to play games today. We invited Jessica back because you all loved her so much. We brought her back into the building to come hang out with us. So this is pretty exciting. So much stuff has happened since the last time we've seen you folks, since July. We've had a minor release. We had Angular 14.1 come out with some cool stuff. We got some new announcements going coming up pretty soon that I can't talk about just yet, but stay tuned for some important announcements. People are loving the inject function still. Still, people are like having a blast with that thing. We probably should formalize some information around that now since people are like really enjoying it. Jessica, you have a video coming up pretty soon.
I do. I do.
How you feeling about that?
It was a lot of fun to shoot. God, that echo is really messing with me.
We can't hear it, so you're okay from my point of view.
I think it's maybe your speakers, Mark.
Okay, let me figure this out. 1 second. Okay, you talk. I'm going to mute.
Okay. Yeah, see, now I don't hear anything. Just me. Yeah, so I'm excited about the video. It's always fun to shoot, especially when you've got a good producer to work with that has a pretty good setup. Um, for those not in the know, the producer was Mark.
Right. Like that's why I'm smiling like that. Like, yes, it was me producing for Jessica. So that was great. Yeah, we filmed and I can't wait for you folks to see the video just because it's great to have Jessica on camera. It's a great collaboration. Whenever we work together, we always have a great time because we co-produced a video for NGConf or NG Enterprise in 2021 together, and that was a lot of fun. We did that. That was October of 2021, Jessica. That's how long ago that was because it was before Thanksgiving, so it was either
Yeah,
like October, November.
it's been almost a year. It's hard to believe that we're getting that close to that timing
Yeah,
already.
unbelievable,
Full
wild
couple
times.
days of shooting too.
Yeah, it was, and on scene, like, yeah, we were like on location. There you go. We were on location trying to like deal with the like, you know, the changing environment when you're not in the studio with controlled lighting, right? Because it got darker as we were shooting, and we had to compensate for that. So that was interesting. Let me say I had a few more people, and then I think Jeremy might be ready to kick off our game.
I'm trying. I'm having some uh, difficulties capturing the window. I might have to go through OBS.
Okay, if you need to do that, that's no problem. Let's see. We got Jivan. Hello, hello, hello. We got Wael. Hello. We got Juan Faja from Uganda. Welcome to the party. This is a good question. When can they join the game? Jow, I'm gonna tell you something. Not yet, but that's something that we can explore, like having some community games. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have to figure out, like, is there a game we could play if we try to stick to our like violence free-ish game choice, right? Because all the big multiplayer games are centered around enacting violence on others.
With a gun, most likely.
Hmm.
I think there might be some like, well, I've never played. What's the farming one you can play on Nintendo? I can't think of the name right now. But everybody was playing at the beginning of the pandemic.
Animal Crossing.
Yes, Animal Crossing. There's that.
Fall Guys, someone suggested. That's actually a good.
That's Wagner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's Wagner's in there.
Yeah, what's up, Wagner? In the building.
Yeah, Wagner told me he watches all our streams, but he never gets in the comments.
Oh, let's go. Wagner in the building watching our stream. So here's an interesting thing. We should launch a dedicated Angular video player.
So
can we just use YouTube?
So here's the question: is like, why? Why a dedicated Angular video player when you could just use any video player in an Angular app?
That's true. So that's the game. It just always, if you can't see it, it always sounds like somebody's like just dragging like a metal case across like concrete.
Or a very large dog barking in the background.
Oh. What are you
Yeah,
folks
that.
playing these days outside of today? Like what are you currently playing?
Let's see. What am I playing? Finished Monster Sanctuary. I started playing it back during the holidays and then kind of put it down for a while, picked it back up. But it's a really good indie game. It's like, what if Pokemon, but good?
Hot takes.
So it is like a little monster collecting and battling game, but it's also, instead of it being kind of like a 2D top down like walk around, it is like a 2D side scroller with Metroidvania elements, right? And so like some of the monsters you catch give you different, like, it's like, oh well, this one lets you double jump and this one lets you like open certain doors, and the battles are always 3v3. And so with that, you get into like, oh, well, like this monster is good at healing, and this one is good
Yeah.
at like tanking because it'll like jump in front of the other ones and take hits. And so
Sure.
you can build more interesting teams, and all of the monsters in the game are actually useful for something, right? There's like Pokemon is filled with useless Pokemon, and this one, all of them are like interesting. They have like their own little talent trees, so you can even like take the same one and build them in different ways to get different results. It's much more like mechanically interesting than Pokemon.
Oh, okay. So I'll tell you what I'm playing. I have been putting in major hours on this thing. Oh, you can see my screen because it's reflective. But yeah, the Steam Deck. Oh, Jessica, let's go. What the number of Googlers that have these things? Yeah, I've been putting in a lot of time on this thing, and I'm playing this game called The Surge, which is like a Soulsborne type game. So really hard. Oh, thanks, Mike B. I'll up my audio. Yeah, but it's like a Soulsborne game, so it's quite hard. And I spent like 6 hours trying to get out the first area, right? Because you don't know, because you think it's a hack and slash, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there and destroy everybody. So for everybody to know what kind of game this is, so it is, you are a wheelchair user who goes into this factory job because they outfit you with an exosuit, so you can walk and do manual labor. However, something goes wrong with your installation and you get discarded, right? You sign this contract that you agree to this lifestyle. So it's a really, really wild story. But you're like, I don't want to be discarded. I'm going to fight my way to the top to find the evil overlords who are discarding humans, blah, blah, blah. But it's like a Soulsborne game, so it's really challenging. And the first mini boss you fight, like the first big enemy, is like a one hit kill type of enemy, you know what I mean? Or you take like 1 or 2 hits and you just die. And so it just took me a long time to like figure out the attack pattern and the patience because you have a stamina meter. So you can't just swing, over and over again. If you do an attack, there's a certain level of stamina that's used. If you use health, it uses stamina. So then you're like left defenseless because you can't block without stamina. So one of those hard games. And I was getting clapped quite a bit for a long time. And now I'm no longer getting clapped up. You see the surge on the
Yeah,
Steam
that's
Deck.
interesting.
Last game,
I haven't actually heard of that.
yeah. If you like Soulsborne games, like hard games, this is right up your alley.
All right, I finally got the game up and sharing here.
All right, so go ahead and do that, and let's start answering some questions. First off, Umair Hafiz, hey NG family, welcome to the party. Thank you for being a part of the NG family. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Jaideep, go ahead. How are you doing? Good to see you. All right, so you also had some questions, so let's answer some questions while Jeremy's starting to share. Oh wait,
Yeah,
let me put you up there.
it's in there, Mark. You gotta get me in.
There we go.
All right.
Frame rate is better than when I played Stadia. Oh, this is way better than when I played Stadia. This is usable.
Yeah. So this is a
Um,
game called Snake Pass.
yeah.
I've never played it
What? So tell us
before.
about the game. Yeah. Tell us
I've
about
never
it.
played this game before. But
Uh huh.
it's kind of like I think an indie game where you're controlling a snake, and I think controlling the snake is supposed to be the really hard part. I think it has like tonally, it is inspired by like Banjo Kazooie.
Hmm. Do people realize? Do we wake up like that with our eyes, and you see like the shade? Like the dark area from your eyelid. Do you wake up like that? I don't know. This is
What
an indie
you
game.
don't? You don't,
All
Mark?
right. I don't know. Are you playing on PC or Steam Deck, Jeremy?
This is PC. I'm
Okay.
not I'm not equipped to do like a capture card from Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I did
Okay. So frame rate
pick
is
up
choppy.
a capture card. It doesn't work super great, but I do have one. I've not tried it with the Steam Deck.
So if you play next time, Jessica, it would technically be your turn to play next time. Um, let's do it. Let's try to stream from the Steam Deck. Yeah, this it's weird, Jeremy, because the FMV is like I don't know, like 28, 26 frames per second, and then the actual gameplay is like 15, which is really weird.
Yeah, that is strange. Oh, interesting. All right.
So what's the name of this game again?
Snake Pass.
Snake Pass.
This is actually very silly. The like physics dragging you down and just kind of like pushing yourself up.
Hello from Ukraine. What's up, friend? I will not attempt to say your name. I apologize. But hello. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's answer some questions because Yosef was super patient. Is it possible to call services very first before import load an ng module? Getting an environment variable to dynamic from Docker makefile, maintaining JSON to configure, and by using HTTP client reading
So
JSON.
so the question I would have with this is like, why do you need it to be a service, right? Like you could always just have that live in like if it's an environment variable, right? Then you're going to need some kind of build step to get that environment variable in JavaScript, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
if you generate a file that just has that variable, you could just import it and use it at any point, and it doesn't need to be exist within Angular's lifecycle.
Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, you also see if you can see if you can export those environment variables. That way you can just include them that way. It's a good point. So you're passing those okay variable through socket IO module which one to load after service. Yeah, so you can control all that other stuff yourself with the normal Angular lifecycle if you like separate the idea of the environment variable loading having to be a part of Angular lifecycle, right? So like Jeremy said, if you can export it somehow, generate a file, do it in your build step, something like that, so that when you have it, then worry about your app separate and just use it that way. Yeah, that can be a good way. Um, we get this question I think every stream about graphs. I'm so interested. I really want to
So
know from the community, like, what is the need there that isn't solved by like third-party solutions?
yeah, so this is an interesting one, right? So that is kind of my first reaction to is like there's plenty of data visualization libraries out there that you can drop into Angular and just start using, right? Like that is work. You can wrap them in components, you can slap directives on them, whatever you want. That said, I have always wanted to do data visualization components, like a first class thing for Angular. We actually have some folks inside, like in other teams inside of Google, in cloud and like the analytics, right? Like Google has a lot of things that deal with data visualization that have done a lot of really interesting work in this space, especially regarding building accessible data visualizations, which I think is not very broadly explored in the open source world. So I think there's some interesting stuff we could do there, but it's just a matter of priorities, right? We've always had others kind of more pressing work on the UI
Yeah.
component stuff, in particular relating to material design, that has kept us from really going and exploring bigger, broader areas of UI component stuff.
Unless you're talking about graph databases, and then the answer is the same.
Well, great question. So again, please don't take us as like dismissing your question, but it's more the idea that we just want to understand what's not being served by other solutions before, because we get this question at least what, Jeremy, at least once or twice every stream about a graph directly in, unless it's the same person who's just trying to wear us down over time, just like I'm gonna keep asking until they do it. That works.
Yeah.
I once got a person at Best Buy to negotiate a price because I wouldn't stop asking. So persistence definitely does have its place in the world. Um, Tayamba in the building. What's going on? Look, Tayamba is a fantastic community member, especially on YouTube, always supporting us, always having our back. People like say a lot of inconsiderate stuff to us, and Tayamba's usually in the streets, just like, look, he answers, and I just appreciate it. So we see you and we appreciate you. Here's some games that we can do that are like, you got No Man's Sky, 4 players in a party, 32 players in an instance. So if you had a home planet, others can meet you there. Also, a VR headset, flying into space is mind blowing. Okay, so we might look at No Man's Sky. You know what, Tim? I was actually looking at No Man's Sky because I was thinking about starting a game on my Steam Deck because I don't want so I do want the console version. But let me explain something to you about how my life is set up. I have a PS5 and I have a Switch. And it's turning into I had a PS5 and I had a Switch because my child is commandeering both of those things. And my wife, it's pretty much her Switch at this point because she plays Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion. So I never get to play that thing anymore. And then the PS5 is starting to become Astro's Playroom and Hot Wheels Racing, like nonstop, and I barely get to play that anymore. So the Steam Deck is the only thing that's mine that I don't let anybody touch. So I'm going to PC gaming as a like primary mode of playing games now, and it's
Yeah.
disappointing because I worked really hard to get that PS5, and I barely get to use it on my own.
I gotta say, the commentary about a VR headset and traveling in space in a VR headset is spot on. I have played a couple of space games in VR. The recent, I don't, the name is escaping me this morning, but this Star Wars Star Wars Squadrons. I
Oh
played that
sure.
in VR, and that was really fun. Um, it's a little difficult to get everything set up properly if you want to do, especially if you want to do like a flight stick or whatever. It takes up a lot of space, but it's a really good time.
Do you have a VR headset?
I do. I've actually had multiple over the years. I'm on my
Oh,
third VR headset right now.
you should bring it to work so we can play it. Like just like have some fun or
I
something.
I certainly can. I have a Quest 2. I had a Quest 1, and I actually had the old the Rift, the original
Oh yeah.
Rift as well. And I've just kind of gotten rid of the previous version and switched over to the new version. I would love to get a more high fidelity one. Like
Sure.
the Quest 2 is great for like accessibility and cost and stuff, but it is fairly limited as far as some of the like the modern newer stuff has some really good high fidelity imagery where you don't get screen door effect at all. And
What
I've
is
never
that?
had screen door effect is an issue that has been present with a lot of VR headsets over the years, where your eyes are so close to the screens, and the screens don't have high
Mm,
enough pixel density. So, like, it's a screen that if you were to have it on your phone, you wouldn't see the pixels necessarily. But because of the Fresnel lenses that they have
mm-hmm.
in the headset, as well as how close the screen is to your face, you can actually make out individual pixels. And it kind of has this feeling of looking through a screen door, seeing the world through a screen door.
Ah,
And we now have like higher pixel density screens that have almost completely eliminated the screen door effect on some of the more recent headsets, but they are more expensive, require the Lighthouse solution for tracking, which means it's not portable.
right.
And but it is more granular, and you can do like full body motion tracking. Um, but so I just really haven't invested in it. I tend to get a bit motion sick these days
Sure.
from VR, and so I've used it less and less because of that. But it is very immersive, very immersive.
Okay, so Jeremy, I just realized that this reminds me of like the Snake Nokia game, like but not on like steroids, but like just really enhanced because you're growing in length.
I don't think I am.
No, you are because you started off like a little garden snake and you're much longer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're longer than you were, 100%.
Okay. So this game is fun. Like the movement is actually really fun, just kind of on its own. I know it doesn't really look like it. The most annoying thing is this little hummingbird won't shut up.
Hey, listen.
It's like, let me
Hey,
just figure it out,
hey,
dude.
listen, listen. Watch out.
I just can't believe that like indie teams can make games of this fidelity. Like, just I mean, 20 years ago, this was like a AAA studio title level of fidelity and graphics. And like now, like imagine a PS2 game that looked like this. You wouldn't. If someone told you Naughty Dog made this 20 years ago, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, of course. And now it's probably made by like 3 people. It's
All
just
right.
amazing to me.
Go up
All right,
here.
let's answer some more questions. All right. I don't know what. Oh, this is a great one. I love this question. Lars is another person who watches our videos, watches our streams. Lars, we see you. We appreciate you. I just noticed you have 2 phones, and I'm like, that's pretty fire. You got 2 phones, one for the code and one for your friends, maybe. There you go, Jessica. You need the hearts on top. Lars asks, what will the main focus be for NG15?
So
Can
it's
we say
interesting
anything
that
about
you
that?
ask because normally we don't really like have a theme for releases. Normally the way we do our backlog is just that it's like, oh, like these are the top things in the priority backlog, and this is what we think is going to be done for a release. But for version 15, we actually looked at the projects that were coming up and realized like, oh, there is actually a theme kind of emerging here, which is around simplifying the Angular developer experience in some ways. So a good part of that would be, let's see, like in the Angular CLI, when you do a new project, you end up with a whole bunch of configuration files in your project root, right? You've got a TS config and a lint config and a prettier file and an angular.json and a karma config and just all of these different things that it's like, I don't need to see all this. And so in version 15, I think new projects will by default will generate all of that stuff into a like config, like a hidden config folder or something like that, so that you get like a much more simplified new project experience so that it doesn't seem too intimidating. What was another thing? I'm blanking off the top of my head, but we have some other stuff going into version 15
I mean,
there.
we're hoping to move standalone components out of developer preview by
Right.
that point.
Yeah, there's that too.
hmm hmm Yeah, and lots of ergonomic changes, like stuff that's going to make your life better. Angular development experience for the win. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. Hello King asks, any tutorial for Angular for Web 3? I mean, if you got your Web 3 backend, you just put Angular as the front end, and then that should be the same.
Oh no.
I know, that's why I switched fast before you, because I know how you feel about Web 3. Osama says hello from Egypt. Hello, good to see you. Uh, Jeremy has his feelings about Web3. Wait, but there's some interesting stuff that did come out of stuff that's used in Web3 that I'm really interested in. Did you see about the distributed or decentralized identifiers or distributed identifiers? Made it to being like a web standard, and it's not just like a blockchain thing. It's just a standard. I think that's really interesting. I want to see more. I want to learn more. Oh, Jeremy, you're getting some love. Jeremy's snake skills are impressive. In this context, that's a compliment.
All right.
Maybe you're not getting longer. I thought you were getting longer, but maybe you're not changing shape. But I thought you were.
The question I have for Jeremy is, do your snake skills scale?
You know what? How do you mute Jessica?
Oh
Esther
no.
White in the building. What's going on? Good to see you. Oh, okay. Let's see. How to dynamically and conditionally inject a style tag into the HTML tag. So maybe a thing about like in the header section, they want to dynamically inject the tag. How
So
do you do something like this?
we don't have anything built into Angular for this, for like conditionally loading or anything like that style. So anything you did there, you would have to just like do it manually and add.
What does manually mean in this case?
Just like use DOM APIs to
Yeah.
insert link or style elements. Right. At the end of the day,
Okay.
it's still all just DOM under there, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. So the idea here, Osama, is for you to just leverage the built-in DOM APIs to get what you want, but there isn't an Angular feature that'll get that for you. Okay. Good question. Thank you. Is there any chance we can have an autocomplete and material select combined? Oh, okay. So they want to like have a select element that then does autocomplete as you're like typing.
So maybe we don't have any short-term plans to do something like that, but we are working on a CDK combo box that is kind of a more general purpose, lower level solution for building components like that. And it would be very possible to build use CDK combo box to build something like that on your own.
And for friends watching, the CDK is our like set of primitive components that you can like leverage yourself and build cool things with.
Yeah.
Everybody okay? Jeremy, is that your doggo going?
Oh, that's just some cohabitation noise in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Everybody's cool then. So this is for Jessica. Have you tried Half-Life Alyx?
I have, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's one of the most impressive VR game experiences. I think it's one of the few like really truly AAA games that have been made for VR, mainly because it was designed to sell the Valve Index. I have played it only with Quest, so I haven't been able to do it with like the cool Valve Index controllers. I love that design. I wish everybody would incorporate the design that lets you let go of the controllers but still have them function just fine. But yeah, it's a very immersive game. I haven't finished it. Like I mentioned earlier, I get a little motion sick, so I can only play for short stints before I have to put it down. but
Yeah, I'm
it's
the
very
same.
cool.
Yeah, when it comes to VR stuff, I literally cannot play for more than like 15 to 30. I think 30 minutes is the maximum for
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
And so that's why my questions about like a metaverse being like the future is a little weird for me because I could not spend an hour in a VR environment, right? So then that's just it makes it completely inaccessible to me for like long term like use, which is what I think is imagined for something like the metaverse. They're thinking of like you go to school in a VR environment, right? Like or you work in a VR environment. For me, that just is it's a no go. So if this were Ready Player One, I'd be toast, right? Like I would never have anything.
I think I think until they solve the motion sickness issue, and quite frankly, the fact that you're wearing something heavy on your face,
Yeah.
that like I've done VR workouts. I used Supernatural pretty early on in the time that like fitness app existed, and it's fantastic. But you're trapping all that moisture inside the headset, and
Mm.
um, that's pretty gross, especially if you want to like share that device and oh I just did a workout. It's covered in
My
sweat. Here,
turn.
go play your game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to spend more time in it because I think it is such a cool experience. I just really wish the motion sickness issue was solved.
Sure, makes sense. Here's a question from Esther White. How can I pass a value from one unrelated component to another? She says, on switch value from component one to get updated to component two. So I think when they say unrelated, they're kind of talking about like not a parent-child relationship, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I would interpret as unrelated, and in that case, you need some sort of like dispatcher or other communication channel between these things, right? So
Yeah.
you can take advantage of Angular's dependency injection system to create a service that both of the components inject and that they can kind of notify each other, right? So we kind of do this in Angular Material and the radio buttons, right? So you can give radio buttons a name even when they're not inside of the same radio button group and they'll still share the unique selection. And so we do that by having a service called Unique Selection Dispatcher that they all inject. And whenever
Mm,
one of them gets selected, it little just like broadcasts a little message on this dispatcher to say, hey, I'm selected and I'm in this radio group, and anybody else in that same radio group, you should unselect yourselves.
so, but I think there's another way to do this too, right? Though, Jeremy, like technically, because we don't know when the updates are going to happen, this sounds like an asynchronous problem, and because we can't predict any timing. When I think of asynchronous problems with unpredictable timing, I think of something like RxJS, because couldn't component one publish an update to the stream, and then any number of components anywhere who subscribe could get those updates?
Yeah, I mean that's basically the same thing as what I said. Like, so we actually do use an observable in that
Yeah.
dispatcher, but really the question is like, how do you create a construct that both of these components have access to? And so you need to solve that
Mm,
regardless of whether you're using a
yeah.
stream or a callback or whatever else.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. So there are some ways. There are some ways. So check out the radio button dispatch system. It sounds like is a good place to
Yeah,
get some
it's
inspiration for
called
your
a
solution.
unique selection dispatcher
Here, I'm
in
gonna
the
put it in the
material.
chat. Unique selection dispatcher, because somebody's gonna look at that and get some value out of it. So that'd be great. Andres is here. What's going on? Good to see you. Okay, so Mike says hiding configs was attempted a long time ago, but the tooling didn't support it well then. So that's a word of caution. It sounds like that we need to keep in mind. Um, okay, thanks for that feedback. Yeah, thanks for that feedback. Hi, Ivan. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. We have created two separate Angular projects with two separate repositories and added module federation to both of them. How can we share components and services among them mutually from two separate projects?
Oh, Yeah, I don't know that I have an answer for that since I'm not
Yeah.
super familiar with the module federation setup.
But so here's what I would say, Telugu Trends. I would totally check out literature from like Manfred Steyer to see what is available because Manfred has put so much work into like this whole space. So definitely do that. Definitely do that. Check out Manfred Steyer. Yeah, we saw it. We answered. You have to tag us. Recently in our project writing integration test with WebDriver and Jess's made mandate. Okay, how do your resources work with these in Angular? Yeah, so WebDriver IO has an Angular migration guide if you're going from, let's say, you started with Protractor. I know that WebDriver has migration guides available and some like best practices available. So I would say check out their website and get some more information. Oh, let's see. Constantine has a good question or a thought. I did for new Angular swag, unique selection dispatcher. Honestly, Jeremy and Jessica, we really should make that shirt and be the only ones with it, and then go to like ngconf and just be like, people are like, what is this? Like, if you know, you know.
It's like the
I mean,
weirdest thing to focus on. It's like this little like 15 line utility.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it just another like fun alias for humans? Like, aren't we just unique selection dispatchers?
Whoop. Tell them. Oh, perfect. See, look, that is what I needed. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. We're so glad that is what you needed. Oh, okay. Rogelio says, I like to come here for tips on Angular and indie games. Which game is this? This game is called Snake Pass. It's right here. If you look at the upper left hand corner, you can see the spelling Snake
Yeah.
Pass.
I think it's actually pretty old at this point. It maybe like, when did this come out? Here, I'm gonna look it up on my other laptop I have over here.
So, what you ought to know about Jeremy's setup at home is that he has like kind of like almost like a stock trader level of like setup where you have like 15 screens with different code editors and compilers running at the same time. It's really impressive to see.
It's a little exaggeration. I won't have that until I finish renovating my basement.
Exciting times. Exciting times. We actually just started talking about purchasing a home. Something I never thought that we would consider in this area, but we like it. We like it enough here that we're like, yeah, we think we're gonna stay.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get a closet, of course. To be clear, my expectations are not that I'll get anything but a glorified closet. But that's okay. You know, we live a lot of our life outside, like in the outdoors anyway. So we need a place to sleep and shower, right? I mean, should be pretty good. Okay, uh, here's a question. How excited are you about the host directives feature, and what's our opinion on it? So, for our friends who don't know about host directives, can we say what we're talking about?
Yeah, so host directives is a feature where, you know how in Angular you can put a directive on an element? Well, host directives is where, actually, we're going to market it as a, we're going to call it the directive composition API, I think. We're not going to call it host directives in the blog post or in the documentation. It's the directive composition API, but it's a way of putting directives for a component to be able to put directives on its own host element. And as the name implies, it is a powerful way of performing behavioral composition. So I'm most excited about this. This is actually like a lot of me pushing for this over the years is the reason for why it's in the queue right now. So the CDK is a great example of like why this is useful. So we have a CDK menu, right? Which is you can think of it as like a headless menu component. It has all of the behavior for a menu built into it in terms of ARIA roles and attributes and pop-up behavior, all this stuff, but no actual templates or styles because we want people to be able to add that on their own. And if you wanted to use CDK menu today inside of your own component, you basically have to wrap it, or you have to inherit it. And both of those composition models have some trade-offs. But with the directive composition API, you'll be able to build a component and say, oh, this component adds CDK menu to itself. And so with that, you get to add all of the inputs and outputs from CDK menu onto that component. You can alias them so that they have a name that's appropriate to the component you want to make. And all of the behaviors of that directive will then apply on that element, like setting the appropriate ARIA attributes and everything. So you get to very easily, whip together your own menu with a lot less effort than you'd had to do before.
So very excited. Very, very excited. Okay, let's see. Phone questions there. Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Let's see if it's fun, Sai. I'll tell you if it's fun. You don't tell me if it's fun. I'll tell you. Is there any VS Code plugin something that you guys use but surprised you that found others don't use and had to suggest to them? Yeah, the Angular language service plugin is really amazing. What else do you have?
My favorite VS Code extension is called WebStorm.
I knew that was coming.
You install it by first deleting VS Code and embracing the one true editor.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. No, I like the Angular language service plugin. I mean, I think people use it, but I just always want to give it a shout out in case somebody's not using it because it's so good. Jeremy, how are you going to get this without dying?
By falling to my death.
I was just looking at that. I was like, wait, how are you going to get that without dying?
It didn't let me keep it.
It did or did not?
It did not. I thought I would get to keep it.
Yeah, because you didn't land.
It's Celeste rules.
Yeah, that's right. It's Celeste rules.
All right, we'll get this.
Okay. Yeah. So that bird is.
I don't know.
I was gonna say that bird's not even like holding its own weight.
Let's see. There's another question here of like, will you be able to apply host directives dynamically or conditionally? And the answer to that is no. They are static, just like if you apply directives in a template. And this lets Angular do type checking for those.
Yeah.
Being able to dynamically add and remove, well, maybe not remove, but maybe add directives at runtime is definitely a feature that is under consideration or like has been under discussion for a long time. Oh boy, that didn't go well.
Oh, but you're still alive. Oh, you were. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, Jeremy. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna get it.
I've been considering switching to WebStorm. Uh-oh, you might have a cover here. Don't do it.
I mean, it's true. It is true that VS Code is free,
okay.
And it's also true that you get what you pay for. Right. In all sincerity, right? Like VS Code is a oh snap. VS Code is, it's a good editor. It is free. But there are features in WebStorm that make me so much more productive than I can be in VS Code. And I can't imagine, like I've tried it, right? I've tried VS Code and I'm missing too many things.
I've been wondering since you have talked about this so much.
JetBrains, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jessica.
I was going to say, after you've made many of these suggestions, I'm wondering how many plugins you would need in VS Code to mimic all of the things you're looking for that you get out of WebStorm.
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought about that. Of just like, what if we just make VS Code plugins to the point where it's, let me get this.
Yeah, that is.
Get it. Stay up.
So what's weird is like it's like, oh, press left trigger to like grab on, and I do that, and like nothing happens, and it just like slips right off.
What controller are you using?
This is an Xbox 360 controller.
Rad. Okay. You know, I have a
Um,
Steam controller. I got it when it was on fire sale for $5 each, and I got one. I never played it with it though.
I have some interesting Steam controllers. I have the one that you could get, the same one you have, Mark,
Uh huh.
like the actual retail one. But I also have a pre-release Steam controller
Oh yeah.
that is pretty rough shape, as far as like it's in good condition. It's just because it was a beta design. It definitely had a lot of work to do before it was ready to go. I should bring that to a future stream,
Yeah.
so
Do it.
that y'all can see it.
I feel bad for Jeremy.
no.
You get so close, and that bird is holding your tail, which is not giving you anything. Wait, wait!
Oh,
Don't give
oh,
up! Don't give
oh!
up! Don't give up! Don't give up the ghost!
This is going nowhere,
Don't give
gang.
up the ghost! No, no, no! You got something! You got something! Because that ledge behind you might be it. See,
Well,
that bird. You know what the most insulting part about that is? That bird is holding on until you like fall too far. It's like, nope, you out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
That bird just
Like, well, I
lets you go.
tried.
That's messed up. Can you eat that bug?
No, they fly away. I want to be able to
Uh,
eat stuff.
yeah,
can you eat the hummingbird?
No. Ah.
This is
I
like
can tell
watching me
what your
play chess.
strategy is. I can tell what are you trying to like wrap yourself around the pole
Yeah.
so you can't fall? Yeah, like it's like a logical strategy. It's just Steam
Yeah.
isn't.
Chat. What am I doing wrong, chat? Oh,
Oh wait, so Esther answered your question, Jessica, and said you need 21 extensions. 21. So I used to use Android Studio, which is the same thing as it's like our fork of come on, don't give up.
Come
Wrap the pole, wrap the
on.
pole, wrap the pole.
come on. Like, I pulled myself up from harder stuff than that. I thought I had it that time.
Maybe it's just
I
the
want
weight
to
of
be
the
too.
coin. The coin is too heavy in your snake body to allow you to climb up.
I totally had it that time. I don't know why I didn't get up there.
Yeah, I thought you were in.
Esther,
Use Android Studio, and it was phenomenal compared to like using VS Code for like Flutter apps. I literally abandoned VS Code whenever I did Flutter because I was like, oh yeah, there is a VS Code plugin for Flutter, but it was nothing like the power of Android Studio, which is the same company that makes WebStorm. But Android Studio is just like I said, our fork of it for Android-centric development. But the full tool is called what's Android Studio really called? Um,
It's IntelliJ.
IntelliJ. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
IntelliJ.
IntelliJ.
yeah, the people behind WebStorm.
Yeah,
Right. Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
all the
And
same
so I remember
IDE.
liking it a lot.
All right, we're gonna
Um,
do it this
Okay.
time, gang.
Oh
Esther
wait,
says
somebody said
if you
something
eat the
interesting.
hummingbird, it can't hold your tail. And I would argue that it's not really doing a very good job of like doing anything when it holds your tail. So
Ah,
So plot twist. Plot twist. Start by wrapping around the sign.
oh, now
That's what
there's an
Sarky
idea.
says. Yeah, that is an idea. Thank you, Nuno. Yeah, JetBrains, man. Like JetBrains and IntelliJ are very, very good things. But I think we should do Angular development in Eclipse and call it a day.
Eclipse.
Oh my gosh. When I first started at Google, Eclipse was like the editor of like it was actually like Google's quote unquote supported editor, and it
Sure.
was awful. Like genuinely, I don't know how anyone came to the decision to do that.
a little stretch, and you might be able to pull this off without falling.
All right. Come on, just a little bit more. Gotta get my head around. All right, hold on.
Another loop. Another loop.
There's a Mark. There's a question higher up related to SEO.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm curious what the full what is meant by this question. Like when you say SEO for Angular, like what do you mean specifically? Because is there's because you can do SEO with Angular, but like, are you looking for something related to hydration? Are you what are you looking for here specifically?
Server-side rendering, which we have.
Yeah.
Pre-rendering, which we have.
Well,
So,
I mean,
yeah, can
we
you
have
expand?
server-side rendering, we have pre-rendering, but they're definitely not perfect, and we know that there's gaps with SEO related to those things. And
Sure.
but I'm be curious to hear more about like what your ask is there. What do we need to improve for SEO?
Yeah, good point. Rodwin says, "Good evening, everyone." Hello, Rodwin. Thank you for coming back to another stream. So good to have you. But yeah, Jessica, great clarification. So, Oki, if you're still there, go ahead and put in your thoughts, expand on your question. Can we have something like island architecture in Angular?
I'm not sure what's meant by island architecture. And I think Jeremy is way too focused right now. So
yeah, he's got it. No, you got it, Jeremy.
Maybe someday. Oh snap! I hit a key on my keyboard. Oh, did we get it? We got it. We got it. All right.
Oh, yay. Let's go. Bam, 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 bam.
Now, I got to figure out, do I need to get to like a checkpoint or something to save that?
that was definitely a hard one.
Let's go find a checkpoint.
Right. Oh, Sriniwas says WebStorm with VS Code key maps. Let me ask you all a different question though. What's your keyboard game like? Are you all into mechanical? You into like soft touch? What are you into?
I got a mechanical here, and I've got Logitech MX keys in the office.
I personally have never been on the mechanical train. I have issues with my wrists starting to hurt, so like any flat keyboard doesn't work for me. I have to do an ergonomic style keyboard. And so right now I have the Logitech, I think it's K860, and it's more like laptop style chiclet keys, but it has a full feature set that I really appreciate, and it is easily the best ergo keyboard I've personally used. It meets my needs very well.
Ooh, there's a sneaky one back here.
Okay.
No.
I like that. So I use MX Keys Mini at work. I use a full-size MX Keys at home, but I want to change my home one, and probably my work one, to be honest with you, probably upgrade it to be the MX Mechanical. I want to try their mechanical keyboard they just released. Because in terms of keyboard, my favorite coding keyboards over the last like 10 years have been, there's this one by Logitech. It was a white keyboard. Everybody loved it. It used to be solar charged. I can't think of the name of this model. Let me see.
My one request for those that really love mechanical keyboards is if you are in a physical office space, please do not go with the loudest clacky keys you can find. Please.
So don't go with red switches. Go
yes,
with like
if you want to do that at home, great, but be considerate of your neighbors in the office environment.
No, I'm not gonna be considerate because considering the fact that the red switches make me more productive, I sound fancier.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Jessica, you need to know how much typing is happening.
You need to know how much I have to spend on noise canceling headphones to drown that out.
So wait, so the keyboard that I loved for a long time, long time, was the a Logitech wireless Solar K750. I had this keyboard, and then like 10 people in the office I was working in got that keyboard, and they never wanted to give me credit for being the one who introduced them all to it because it was such a great keyboard. Next, after that, the MX Keys has been my favorite like keyboard. Um, I really love this keyboard, but I want to try the mechanical one just to see, but with brown switches though, right? Like I don't want to do the loud, like tactile. I want to do the smooth travel. Although I think Esther, Esther's hilarious. She says that she even has mechanical keyboard sounds on her phone, so she's really dedicated. Oh, red. As I said it backwards. Thank you so much, Srinivas. Reds are silent, blue are loud. So yeah, you want to get, but I want brown. I want the middle. I want the middle. I want the brown ones. Um, Here's a good question from Daniel TV. What's going on, Daniel TV? What's the Angular future in the coming years? You know, I want to start this question off and answer it because I've been thinking about this as the Angular decider of everything.
Yeah,
Um,
no spoilers for ngconf, Mark.
okay, I think the coming years, we spent some time building Angular, and I think that the ecosystem has changed quite a bit. I think Angular is in the best position it's ever been to not only change along with some of the helpful trends that we think are really valuable to the community, but to also define new trends that, like we've always done. That's something that Angular has always done is define a path forward, and I think we're going to be able to. We're in a position to do more of that now, more than we've ever been, and so that's what you can expect. Like I don't think our business is to like copy what everybody else is doing. Like not to look at what like Svelte or like Vue are doing and say, oh yeah, we're gonna become that. It's more like, are there cool things they're doing? Yep. Okay, maybe we can learn and adapt some of those things. But what's next? Right? Figuring out what's next for web development and web frameworks. I think that's where we're going. We're trying to figure that out. What do you folks think?
Well, I think there's a very simple answer to this question. And I would just say that the future is bright and vibrant. I think we've got a lot that is very exciting that we're working towards, and I think we're all excited for it. So you all should be too. And that's as non-spoilery as I will take it.
I thought you were gonna say the future was bright and you have to wear shades. That's what I thought you were gonna go.
Oh no, but no, it is pretty lit though.
That's a double one if you're paying attention. If you're paying
Yeah.
attention.
So I could say what the future's not.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Hit it.
Not Web3. It's not metaverse. It's not microtransactions. It's not a subscription model.
Hot take. All right.
It's making
RP
things
or
that make
not
developers'
metaverse.
lives easier.
That's a good way to put it. I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Still looking for a CMS for Angular. Must be once-off payment or open source. Any suggestions? There's this person who works on a CMS for Angular that we could point you in a direction to, Rodwin. Eric Slack. Why don't you find Eric on Twitter? Because I know that Eric works on a CMS.
Yeah. Mark, when you lean back, we lose a lot of your volume.
Oh,
Hmm.
like a lot of the volume, because that's what people are saying. That's because this streaming software is interesting. Okay, check out Eric Slack for CMS stuff.
This game is more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, you're having a good time. We're having a good time. Oh, we're having such a good time. Can you believe that an hour has gone by already? This has been a great conversation. I've had so much fun. The tray, Lars. You know what? We have. I've seen people with this. I've seen people who have a magic keyboard and then the pad, and they put it in like a casing or a tray or some sort to like keep it together. I think Minko has a setup like that. Yeah, it's pretty great. That's pretty great. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much. The standalone components direction has been great. Thank you. Thank you. We're glad that you folks enjoy it. I think it's great. I think what it's going to become is even better over time. I think as it matures and becomes even more stable, the APIs become even more polished and well-rounded. I think it's just going to be such a great way to architect your Angular applications.
Yeah. Standalone components is also like a good example of the kinds of evolution we'll be making to Angular, right? Of just incremental things that carry people along the way. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. To me, it does. No, to me, it does. Let's see. All right, I think we got time for like one or two more questions, and then we're gonna let our incredible team get back to other work. This is work. It's so funny when people come in here and yell at us for like having fun. They're like, "Can't you do something more?" I mean, Jeremy, we were getting that at least once a stream at one point. Like, why are you all wasting time? And I'm just like, we're not. We're having fun and we're doing work. We're connecting with the community. Like, yeah, this is not a waste of time. It's a great thing for us to do. We really enjoy it. My
Yeah.
question is, why are you mad that we want to spend time understanding the needs of the community so we can build the best products? Okay, let's see. Still not able to understand. Oh, you know what, Venkata? You say you still not understand strictly type forms. We just released a video, I think last week or the week before, where we do a deep dive into strictly type forms and how they work and how you can use them. Let me see if I can get you a link to that because that could be super awesome to have. Let's see.
Got to keep a tight coil here. Nope. Not that way.
Yeah, otherwise you might recoil in fear as you fall.
Oh dear.
We can do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you this link. We got a crispy link for you. Oh yeah, this is great. We spent some time and we made this video, so I want to put this out there for you. No problem, you got it. Okay, so let's see what Constantine says. Even more than standalone components, I'm so glad to have type forms. Soon, by the end of the month, over 700K lines of code at Angular Report will be on version 14. Congratulations, that's huge. That's amazing. Good for you. And thanks for using it and sharing this feedback with us. We love to see it. Also, configurable file for defining source loading paths of all the JS files from other servers, not only the host.
No.
Oh, you had it.
Okay, so Ratik is asking about how to configure files from like different servers. So that's probably why they want some type of service or something like that. They want to be able to like kind of bring all the files together into like a source of truth that they can use in their application. Okay. You can, I mean, there are, I guess there's some ways to do that. Let's see. This is really great and helpful conversation. So glad that I joined and learned a lot. Esther, thank you for coming by. Yeah, thanks for coming by. Glad to have you. And congratulations on updating to Angular 14. Just update to Angular 14. Just stay with the latest, right? Like we do something that's really unique in the industry. Is that when we do updates, we're really intentional about making sure that we bring the community along with us. So we really try to be, to provide like a smooth transition between versions where we can. That's a big part of our like desire, which is why we don't fully just rip out stuff. Like people say, well, you have standalone components, remove ng modules. We don't do that, right? Like we don't want to because there's a huge community of people who are relying on that. So what we do is we bring everybody along with us. So we have standalone components, and for people for a time, we can do ng modules, and then at some point we'll reevaluate. We'll look at what the community needs are, and we'll figure out, do we need to keep modules, which I think that there always will need to be support for modules because there's just so much work out there that uses ng modules. No! Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you got to stop me, or I'm going to be here all day.
All right. Well, stop. Okay. So I'm going to toss it over to you, Jessica, and Jeremy. I want you to say one thing that you want people to check out. It could be anything that you're interested in, and give them a final thought. Jessica.
Is this one thing related to Angular or just in general?
It's something that you are interested in,
Um,
or
something
Angular.
that
It's up to you.
something that I am interested in. Well, on the video game front, I would say check out Stray if you haven't. If you've seen a bunch of
PS5.
like cat images, well, it's available on Steam as well. It's like on
Oh,
a bunch
cool.
of platforms. Um, yeah, it's been fun. I've been playing on the Steam Deck. It's been great.
Wow. Great, 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 Jeremy. What should people be looking forward to, or something you're interested in? You want people to know about?
So people should go check out all the new CSS stuff that is on the precipice of being able to be used in most applications. So CSS container queries, CSS layers, the has pseudo class, and the is. There's the is pseudo class. There's one other where, the where pseudo class. And I guess also scoping is also something that is in the pipeline. But all of these things are going to be something people can earnestly start using soon. And it is really going to be a revolution in the way you are able to write CSS, right? We are entering a new era.
Who's
Oh, super rad.
who's Ernest?
Okay. Um, okay. For me, I would say check out decentralized identifiers. I think this technology is really interesting. It just got ratified into a web standard. So web standard. Hear me when I say web standard. So it just got ratified into a web standard. Really interesting ways to manage your identity online. I'm really interested to see what this technology turns into in the next 3 to 4 years as it continues to grow and it gain adoption. Or it might turn into nothing, like other web standards have over time, right? We don't use everything that's available. But check this thing out. I think it's going to be super cool. All right, friends. Listen, it has been a blast to hang out with you. We have had so much fun. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for hanging out. And really, until the next time, friends, go build great apps. We'll see you.